Oh, and before I get into this, before I get into anything or get to anything else, I want to make it clear to not harass anybody that I mention in the videos. I just have differences of opinion with them. I should have probably led with that probably from the beginning, and I'll probably put a disclaimer at the front of whatever this video turns into. But yeah, let's not hurt anybody's feelings. I'm not looking to start fights or anything with anybody. I have my own personal takes and my own opinions on certain things, and that's just kind of how it is. If you differ from me, please feel free to let me know. Everyone's free to have their own opinions and takes on it. Maybe I'm trying to figure out how I should formulate this, because my goal is to like put this up on YouTube as like kind of like an edited version of some of my thoughts and whatnot, and being kind of pulled back into the conversation after almost 4 years of not talking about Final Fantasy VII or Remake or Rebirth or any of that. So, you know what? Some of you guys will not know this about me or anything of that nature. But I have a bit of history with making some videos about Final Fantasy. And in particular, Final Fantasy VII, because Final Fantasy VII is my favorite mainline game. This video right here is from 4 years ago. It's very old. I made this rant talking about Square Enix lying about the remake, which, to be fair and to be honest, though I was angry at the time, I was not wrong that they lied. Because a lot of their marketing told us that this was a faithful recreation of the original, which, even with Rebirth out now, that is not the case. It is not a faithful recreation of the original by any measure. It is a retelling. In the context of how I understand it now, it is a retelling or a reimagining of the original game. It is not a remake. The problem is that Square Enix's marketing, which I did point out in this video, was very blatantly, obviously lying about what this is. Because now, with, like, the context of Remake and with Rebirth as well, a lot of the fans can't really come to a consensus of, is this a retelling, a reimagining of the original, or is it its own thing? Is it a sequel? Is it something else entirely? And to be honest, it is by design. Square Enix has designed it this way on purpose. They've mentioned this in interviews so much for the last few years. They've made this the objective because it is, although I hate it and I don't like it, is brilliant marketing. I'm going to use a reference to something that I don't play and I don't really care much for, I don't play it, but I watch other people play it on YouTube. Five Nights at Freddy's. Theory crafting is a big, big juggernaut on YouTube. It really is. It's really big. So if you can make a game that makes people like speculate and research and do stuff, basically it's free promotion. Right? That's how Five Nights at Freddy's really got their ball rolling. It isn't just from Let's Plays like from Markiplier or others. It is the theory crafting that came after the aftermath of its initial push. And that has what's been fueling the franchise now probably for the last several years. So Square, obviously, found a good source to do this. And that's what they've been doing. They've mentioned it in interviews multiple times that they actually love the theory crafting part of the Final Fantasy fan base, especially for 7, and that they encourage it. It's brilliant marketing. It really is. I can't even be mad about it anymore. It's smart. So that's their thing. That's what they've done with FF7 for the remake and Rebirth. We're left with more questions than answers. The one main thing right now is like, I don't even know if everybody will get the answer, a satisfying answer to the questions that they have. Some might, and others won't. I made another one not long after that, which kind of bowled over a lot of my just overall criticism and complaints for what is now called the compilation. Because I have a lot of strong opinions about the compilation. There's a lot of it that I don't particularly like. And yeah, this is unfortunately something that I discussed in a over 40-minute long rant. I will say, just in general, I got a lot of comments. These videos did pretty well. You know, this one not so much. This one did about only 18K. But me basically saying that Final Fantasy VII just sucks. That got a lot of attention, obviously. It was very clickbaity. I was very upset. A lot has changed since then. Several years have passed. Like, we've done very different things on the channel. My perspective on things have changed. Ever so slightly. So, I am in a very different position than what I was before. I'm not nearly as angry that Remake and Rebirth exist. I honestly am fine with them existing. And I'm fine with people loving those games for what they are. That is completely fine. I have no ill will towards anybody who enjoys them. It may not be my cup of tea. I don't know if I'd ever want to play them. But if other people want to play them and they enjoy them, they love them for what they are, I can't be mad about that. What set the chain of events once again is this post. This post is talking about an interview that was done by Naoki Hamaguchi. And it kind of set off a little bit of a spinning spiral of conversation about Remake and whatnot. It says that he would like people to play Final Fantasy VII Remake first if they haven't yet played the original Final Fantasy VII. So either way is fine. You'll enjoy the game and have a similar experience whether you've played the original or not. I don't know if this is the right answer. This was what kind of, you know, set a lot of people off. And here's the thing. This is marketing PR. That's what this is. This is literally just market PR to get people to play Remake. That's what they want. They want people to play Remake and Rebirth. Because they're newer games, and they make more money from this than they probably will from playing the old one. But remakes can never replace the original experience. That is true. It's very hard to completely replace the original experience. Can you make a really faithful adaptation of the original and make it very fun and modern and make something that a lot of people will end up loving, even old fans? Yeah, you can, but you can't really replace the originals. Not fully. I was in the camp of me wanting like a faithful recreation of the original. Mostly because, and here's my thing. Final Fantasy VII is a lot of fun. It's a good game. It's a classic for a reason. However, it has not aged well. Compared to almost every other Final Fantasy game that has ever been made, I think this one has aged the worst. I think 8 looks fine, even on modern hardware. 9 looks good. The old ones that were either 8-bit or 16-bit look great. And they're classic and timeless. But this one's, like, it's really hard. It hasn't aged well. And that's kind of like, yeah, it comes back to, you see, when I saw this is what I posted. It's like, when it comes to Final Fantasy VII, it definitely feels like Square wants people to move away from the original and only focus on the remake. In the past, my theory was before they want the remake to be the definitive version of all of the compilation, which is a hard pass for me, though, if that is the case. Yeah. So basically, the way I pointed it out, or the way I phrased it, is that it definitely feels like because it's PR and because that's kind of just like how companies are most of the time, it's like they just want to replace it. They've never done a, like, HD remaster of 7 that I know of, or at least one that, like, kind of fixes some of its bugs, its issues, maybe some of the dialogue that's not working properly and stuff like that. It doesn't exist. We only have a port. That's all we have. And also point out that I believe some of the ports are actually kind of broken, where the music is the wrong music or something. I don't know what happened, but it does feel that way. Like, and that's the other thing. Like, a lot of game companies will tell you that they want you to play the newest and latest thing on their roster, not something that was from their past. Not because they don't honor or respect the originals. It's more or less a thing of their profit margins are dictated by what's current. And keep in mind that I said that all this was a theory. This wasn't me just saying that they're going to just abandon the original, like, take it off stores or anything. It's just a theory. It's just my speculation. So, I did get into a conversation about this, where people were saying that that the remake will uplift the original. Now, to be fair, and to be honest, yes, to some extent, some of the players who started with Remake and Rebirth will probably go and play the original. Especially if they're obsessed enough and they're like me when I played the original Final Fantasy VII back when I was young. Yeah, there's a good chance that a lot of them will go back and play the old one. Even though it's aged not the best, not as gracefully. But yeah, people will play it. And I know that there's a ton of people who played the Remake and Rebirth and then went back and played the original. That's great. But what I'm talking about is the chance that the original will just be lost to time. What, in a sense, really lit a fire under me to actually talk about something like this. I want to be better than what I have been in the past. I want to give a fair and honest opinion, my opinion, on Final Fantasy VII, on the remake, on Rebirth, even though I have no desire to play them. I'm just going off of the cursory knowledge that I have been given through videos, through essays, and all that. Will I ever play those games? Maybe. I don't know. I still doesn't feel right to me to play them. But that's just because I'm stubborn. And I'm old. But that said, I don't want anybody to think that I'm out to get them or hurt their feelings or anything like that. Because I'm not. Like, I got a fire lit under me, and here I am thinking that I was done having a conversation about this, but here I am again to actually have a conversation about Final Fantasy VII. Don't have the full remake story out there yet. Exactly. Maybe my perspective will change when all 3 games are out. If that happens, maybe I'll just play the whole trilogy. Well, we'll have a big old time with it, and I'll joke about how dumb I was for doubting the creators, you know. Now, this is a known gentleman who is, I guess a lot of people call him a hater of FF7, and I'm not going to call him a hater of FF7 or Final Fantasy in general. But I don't agree with a lot of his takes. I've seen his videos. I've seen them. But I don't think I fully agree with everything that he said. I don't agree with everything he says. Sebi is who he is. He's an odd duck. But like he made this comparison for Final Fantasy VII Remake that had to do with the same conversation that I was having. Saying, with all due respect, this is like telling someone to watch Rey Skywalker trilogy before the original Star Wars. I hate to tell him this, but there are some people who did do that. There are a bunch of kids who now saw, like, the sequel trilogy as their, like, introduction to Star Wars. It's like someone watching the Rings of Power before Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings. It's like telling someone to watch The Matrix 4 before The Matrix 1. And I disagree with him. I hard disagree with him on this, because I kind of was thinking about this after watching so many different videos discussing both Remake and Rebirth and what they're doing and like the different changes and everything. I now have a more clear understanding of, I think, what the creators are trying to do. At least this is my own hypothesis of what they're doing. That's why I would commented. I would say FF7R is more like the special edition of Star Wars, where a bunch of stuff was added after the fact, most that was either bad or not even needed. And that's kind of how I view Remake and Rebirth currently. What they are is a retelling of the original game, just with a bunch of stuff that is all mystery box-esque, that we don't understand. It's weird, and it's out of sequence, and it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. However, that being said, it's more like a special edition. If you guys like this video, please, of course, do not forget to leave me a like. You can shoot me a comment. I am live over on Twitch every single week, at least 3 times a week. If you want to go and see me more, you want to hang out with me more, please go ahead and go and give me a follow. Links down below for the Twitch channel and for all my other socials. Please feel free to do that. Of course, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.